Hey folks, Deano here again, this time with part 2 of my Demonical Fit Trump Card review. As always, this is going to be the comparison section. I always put these in a part 2 now, it's just easier to deal with and it makes sure the videos don't go massively long. I always drone on anyway. But yeah, here I have 4 different Vegito figures that I've collected over the years. I don't have any of the official Figuarts Vegitos, at least the 2.0s. I did have the 1.0 at one point, but it's long gone. But yeah, standing in for it is this guy. This is the bootleg of the official Tamashii 2.0. I won't really be comparing him too much, just basically the top of the gi, just to show the difference. But yeah, from left to right, we have bootleg of the official, Demonical Fit's take on Vegito Blue, Demonical Fit's new Super Vegito, this is the newest one, and far right we have Demonical Fit's original release from years ago at this point. It's insane to think that not only has the 2.0 mould been going for so long, but so is Demonical Fit. they are still around. But yeah, each of these figures, well, apart from the bootleg, that's yeah. But each of these figures has their pluses and minuses. If I'm being completely honest, I would probably take a bit from each of these figures, but that's just me. But yeah, let's do a comparison of these two first of all, and we'll move these two to the side of the frame, bring these two in. So let's bring down the camera a bit, shall we? There we go. So yeah, these two are basically the closest comparison you can get, because they're both Super Vegitos. This actually came out before, let's get this off first of all, shall we? Yeah, this guy actually came out before Tamashii ever released a 2.0 Vegito, so this is basically an entirely unique sculpt. Well, I say unique, it's pretty much the Goku mold. I suppose this one is as well, but you can tell there's differences in the gloves and the boots, because obviously Demonical Fit back then had nothing to work with, and different head. Head is showing its age a little bit. The faces don't have the extra detail that figures have these days. But one thing I really loved about this guy was these feet. Like, I know people who own this are going to say, oh, the toes were horrible, they barely worked. And that is true, but in my opinion, these boots are far superior sculpt-wise to these. These ones are far too clunky in my opinion, and they're not pointed quite enough. I think these were originally sculpted off of the 1.0 Vegito mold, which again, in my opinion, looked far better than what we have now. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, one thing I really love about this guy is his hair. Like, people who have watched me for long enough and know what I like in an action figure, I love the metallic hair. I really do. Demonical Fit used to do it so well. I have no idea why they stopped. They just randomly stopped doing it in releases. And yeah, I was devastated. But yeah, if you take a look at the faces, like, this to me, even though there's not as much detail as with this guy, yeah, I kind of think this one looks a bit more like Vegito. It's got that cocky smirk, but it's not almost to the point of it being evil looking, if that makes sense. But yeah, you can tell even way back then they were still doing the proper low down gi, but then that is because they had no reference and they've just continued to do it since. So yeah, let's get him out of the way and compare him to Demonical Fit's next version of Vegito. And yeah, again, the colour scheme is different. In fact, the colour scheme between these two is probably a bit closer than between any of them. Like, if I was to choose, colour-wise, I would probably go with the new one, just with a bluer belt. I don't like the slight purple tinge to that belt. I don't know what it is. But yeah, between these two, obviously, the head sculpts are the same. They've just been updated since. Probably not in a great way, especially with the smirk face. The rest of them look good, but the smirk face, this one looked a bit off as is, but the eyes are still bigger. This one, the eyes are squinting a bit more, plus the extra eye details and stuff under the eyes. It just makes it look a bit too much, in my opinion. But that is just me. And that's obviously just with the smirk face. The rest of the faces I think look really good, especially the new stern faces. But yeah, at this point, Demonical Fit were fully copying tamashii in terms of the sculpt and such. You can tell the bottom here is now in line with the official. Same with the boots, even though I don't like these boots. One issue I had with this guy though is this foot is quite loose. Like, if you're not careful, it will give way, and you there's really no saving it when that happens. It will topple. But yeah, apart from that, these two are identical, just slightly different colours. I would probably change the orange in this guy. I've just noticed it's a more muted orange colour. Don't know why I didn't notice that before. But yeah, I would go with the deeper orange, but with the deeper blue at this as well. I think they look nice. And finally, just to compare these two, you can see the massive difference in both the gi. The belt is a bit off, but I think that's just because this is a kind of poor bootleg. But yeah, obviously I have the other original Demonical Fit head on here, because until this point I didn't have a base form head, so I just used this. But yeah, once we get into comparisons for the faces, you will see why I prefer this one specifically for the base form. But yeah, other than that, not a whole lot of difference. Yeah, that'll probably be the last time the bootleg comes into frame. So yeah, for the actual accessories, I'm not going to bother looking down. We'll just see what they're like as is. So something I noticed, I didn't notice it when I was doing the original review, but I have since. The head tails. Even though it looks the same, it's a different sculpt entirely. This is the new one. The new one is smaller, and the sort of hand is sculpted differently, which surprised me. I thought they would just reuse this mold. But yeah, smaller head tail. There you go. If I'm being completely honest though, I kind of prefer this sculpt. Like, I don't like either of them, let's be clear. I would much rather they had sculpted this hand in such a way that he could hold it out and have the tail drooping down. But you get what you get. But yeah, I kind of prefer the bigger tail. to be honest with you. Because obviously Buhan had a really long tail, so I'm not sure why this one's a bit shorter. But yeah, something to keep in mind, they are different. Speaking of something which is the same though, we have the crossed arms. So yeah, like I alluded to in part 1, sorry, it's getting late and a bit tired. Yeah, Beast Deities were basically gloating that their Broly crossed arms separated to make it easier to put it on the figure. Yeah, Demonical Fit's been doing this since their inception, sorry to say. The only real difference here is skin tone. The skin tone of the original is slightly more yellow than the new one. The new one has a more natural skin tone, which I do quite like, looks nice. But yeah, apart from that, they both split apart. They both go on, well, I would say they both go on relatively easily, but getting the arms off of a Goku 2.0 mold is a nightmare. So I haven't tried and I don't intend to, but it is there if you so choose. Next comparison is the beam sword. This one came with, which did it come with? Which did it come with? Because obviously Vegito Blue came with a massive big long beam effect. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure where this one came from. You know that? Now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, as a direct comparison anyway, you'll see the new one has a much glossier plastic, but it doesn't have any of the frosting that's on the old one. So you can see the hand a lot clearer in this one than you can on the old one. If we just show that off, you can quite clearly see the hand in there. Whereas with this one, it's a bit more masked, but you can still see it. So yeah. And finally, like I showed at the end of part 1, is this. Link again will be in the description if you want to purchase this set or the other one that I've got coming. But yeah, this is just a far superior mold to the one that Tamashii came up with originally with the Goku Black. But yeah, something to keep in mind. But yeah, that does it for comparisons of the accessories. Let's take a look at all the heads. So first off, we have a comparison of all the stern faces that I have. I, surprisingly enough, only have one of each. The original versions, which obviously don't have the hair on them because it was an entirely different sculpt, and the new ones. So yeah, if we directly compare them, you will see, yeah, there is a massive difference in how they look. Even the sculpt, where the eyes are and such, completely different. Surprisingly enough though, the original one has markings under the eyes. I didn't think that was the case, but turns out some of the faces on these old Demonical Fits still had the extra detail. So yeah, they kind of hold up even to now. The sculpt of the Patara is also a bit better. They're not just balls hanging off the side of the face. They are fully sculpted earrings on the original. So yeah, do like that. And yeah, same goes for the original stern face. If I remember correctly, this one didn't hold up too well in the original review. It was already marked and such. But yeah, growing pains for Demonical Fit, I am sure. But yeah, direct comparison, they look similar. So let's get on to the grinning face. So yeah, these are all the grinning faces. Yeah, as you can see, now that we have both of these to compare more closely, yeah, I prefer the eye decals on this guy. They are not squinting quite as much, so it doesn't look quite as exaggerated. But yeah, obviously the forehead lines aren't on the Vegito Blue release. But yeah, apart from that, they are pretty similar, just the decals are different. You also have, obviously, the standard face, which, yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened to the Super Saiyan head, to be honest with you. The eyes are just squinted a bit too much for my liking. Yeah, decent enough. And finally, we have the OG smirk. And yeah, even though it's faint, there is extra eye detail underneath those eyes on the original one. But yeah, I still really like this face, particularly. The smirk is going the opposite direction, but yeah, apart from that, it's totally fine. And yeah, before I forget, completely forgot to show this, but because the bangs come off on all of them, you can do a little flip like that, and you can actually make it as if he's powering up. Just something to keep in mind. I know it might look a bit silly, but trust me, once it's posed up and on your display, looks good. So yeah, let's take a look at the teeth gritted faces. So, you'd learn something new every day, but it turns out the original release didn't come with any teeth gritted faces, as far as I can tell. So yeah, if we directly compare these two, you can see, yeah, this one looks a bit more off than this one now. The new eye detail under the eye line and on the forehead sells the fact that it looks like Vegito a lot more. Plus the mouth seems to have been done a bit better. This one, the mouth is a bit dark for some reason. But yeah, this is somewhere where the new eye decals actually make it look better than the old one. So yeah, something to keep in mind. And yeah, exact same deal with the base form head. Although the base form head, I feel as if the mouth line is a little bit too much. I don't know what it is. Kind of looks like he's got lipstick on. But yeah, that does it for the teeth gritted faces. Let's take a look at the yelling faces. So yeah, again, surprisingly, like, the yelling face on Vegito Blue, I didn't realise actually came with two of them. One looking off to the side and one looking forward. Not entirely sure why we didn't get something different with that, but hey-oh, it's an old release at this point. What are you going to do? But yeah, I want to turn your attention to this. If you can stop focusing on the one in the background now, camera, thank you. But yeah, this one I love. Like, I know there isn't enough pink on the tongue. Kind of makes it look as if he's still got toothpaste in his mouth, but this is what this face should have been. This is the actual Yosha face. And yeah, Demonical Fit nailed it the first time round. Not sure why they didn't try to mimic it here. Maybe they didn't want to alter the yelling sculpt just for one face, but yeah, if you're going to do the Yosha, try and track down the original release. Honestly. But yeah, really like that. Apart from that, if we bring this in, I can directly compare it to the front-facing Yell. And yeah, the eyes again, like these new eye tampos, they do a lot better for like expressive faces, like the yelling and the teeth gritted. They don't work quite as well with the smirk. But yeah, there's a lot more expression on the new Super Saiyan head as opposed to the old Vegito Blue head. And yeah, that's purely due to the new decals because it's the same sculpt, exact same sculpt. Exact same if you look at the looking off to the side face as well. Definitely nice. I much prefer this. So yeah. Oh, there is one more thing that I want to compare. I know we're still in this, but let's quickly show it, just to show how far Demonical Fit have come. So this splayed open key blast hand is from the original Demonical Fit release, and this is the new one that's based off the official mold. Look at the difference. That's like a clown hand. That is insane. Yet to this day, I'm still unsure why Demonical Fit made their own mold for the splayed open hand when they had the Vegeta hands that they could have just copied. Like, I'm really not sure what happened there. But yeah, just thought that was funny. Same size of figure, just completely different scale of hands. But yeah, let's get back to the figures and wrap this up. So yeah, folks, hopefully this video was informative to you all. Whether you already have one of these figures and you were thinking if you needed the new one or not, or maybe you were just curious about the differences, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, obviously link is in the description to both the beam effects and the new Vegito. But yeah guys, that'll do it for this review. Let me know what you thought, and I'll catch you all next time.